Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini-episode, I have stories involving chupacabras down in Honduras and an encounter with a very bizarre humanoid that looked like Lurch from the Addams Family, folks. Let's get into the first article titled, Honduras Chupacabras Fear. 2 human deaths claims. Bloodless livestock, and a veterinarian's extraterrestrial warning. Let's get into this article now and read the account of what happened. In early 2019, reports from San Certepicu, Honduras, pushed the El Chupacabra legend back into the regional spotlight after residents claimed a farm worker died following an attack by an identified animal. What made the story spread so quickly was not only the alleged human death, but the wider pattern of livestock found dead without obvious prediction, little visible blood, and accounts of precise injuries that local residents said did not match normal animal attacks. Let's read into the account now. According to the older account, the incident centered on a handyman or farm worker from a village near Chupacabra. After a long day, he reportedly sat down to rest in the shade near a rocky area and removed his shoes. Neighbors later claimed that an unidentified creature emerged from a nearby hole, fastened itself to his bare foot, and began drawing blood. By the time relatives went looking for him that night, they allegedly found him dead and said his body appeared unnaturally pale with no blood left in it. The report states that no firm, independent confirmation was provided of exactly what attacked him, and much of the story was circulated through neighbors and relatives rather than through a formal forensic disclosure. So, we have no real evidence that this actually took place, folks. This sounds like it could be a tall tale. As I said, folks, there's no direct evidence that any Bigfoot or Chupacabra or alien being, if they do come to Earth, folks, has ever actually hurt a human, let alone basically killed them. I'm just basically defending the idea here, folks, that these entities might be peaceful, but then again, this might be an animal that we're talking about here, an unknown animal at that. So let's read on. The same account also folds in a second alleged death said to have occurred in or near Yamacagulya. In that case, a young man identified as Giovanni reportedly vanished after leaving a party and was later found in difficult mountain terrain. Those who discovered the body claimed there were no obvious signs of wild animal attack, no meaningful tracks, and again, the familiar rumor surfaced that the body had been drained of blood. As with the first case, the evidentiality problem is obvious. The claims are dramatic, but the public details remain fragmentary, secondhand, and tied to a frightened local testimony rather than a fully published medical or police record. Honduran press coverage from March 2019 shows that these stories were being amplified by residents already alarmed by livestock deaths. One La Tribuna report summarized terrified villagers saying the so-called chupacabras had killed 2 campesinos, while veterinarian Eliza Romero argued the attacks did not resemble normal predator behavior and speculated about a being with extraterrestrial capabilities. The claim is important not because it proves anything, but because it shows how quickly the narrative in Honduras had moved beyond simple livestock predation into a hybrid, cryptid, and paranormal framework. There are also obvious links to earlier nearby Honduran reports. Your source text references a 2009 case in Esparta involving 15 dead sheep. In 2017, outbreak in Monterrey with more than 35 domestic animals killed. In 2018, claims that roughly 30 cattle were killed in less than a month. Separate reporting from March 2019 says frightened residents in several departments, including Cayamangu, Alencio, Francesco Marinzin, and El Parecio, were reporting cattle found dead without tongues or with minimal visible blood. That gives the case a broader regional pattern rather than leaving it isolated. So the report would say that indeed these animals are being predated upon by something or someone. Remember, the missing tongues, that brings to mind cattle mutilations where a similar phenomena of missing organs like tongues is reported, folks. We'll discuss this matter a little more later after the next article. Tall, lurch-like man seen by experiencer outside home, but witnesses describe 2 different figures. Let's get into this account in which 2 different witnesses give their descriptions of a being. One of them says that it looked like Lurch, folks. An experiencer in Australia reported a deeply unsettling sequence that began with unmistakable sounds inside the house before her partner had even arrived home. What makes this case stand out is not only the auditory event, but also that both witnesses appear to have seen the same presence differently, followed by continued disturbances around the property in the days afterward. Let's get into this very bizarre story and hear exactly what transpired with these witnesses and what they actually saw. Hi, Lon. Something very strange happened to me the other night in Australia, and I'm wondering if anyone else has experienced anything similar. I was upstairs in my bedroom on the phone. My partner was out at the time. While I was talking, I very clearly heard the front door open, footsteps walk through the lounge room, and then the door close again, like someone had entered the house and then left. It wasn't vague or subtle. I absolutely heard it. Just a moment later, my partner called and said, "Do you want anything? I'm just pulling in now." When he arrived home, he looked unsettled and told me he had just seen a man walking around downstairs. And I can imagine that would be troubling for anyone, folks. So yeah, I can imagine that basically these people were about to, have something happen. One witness already had that they can't possibly explain. Now, could it have been maybe a prowler, perhaps? Maybe. But considering that one of them describes this being looking like Lurch, I'm not quite sure that it really, tracks. But let's continue. I went out to the balcony and saw a very tall man walking down the street. He looked like something straight out of the Addams Family. Tall, pale, dressed exactly like Lurch, with the same strange posture and eerie walk. He had this energy that didn't feel human. But here's the part that truly rattled me. My partner didn't see that. He saw a regular man in jeans. Then moments later, I saw him again, now also wearing jeans, walking slowly toward a neighbor's gate like he was searching for something. It felt like I was seeing one version of him and my partner was seeing another. The shift was fast and the whole thing left us both shaken. In the days that followed, my mother-in-law, who stays in our guest house, began hearing strange noises inside her home at night. Her dog also started acting up, restless, alert, clearly disturbed, even though there was nothing there. Now, this brings to mind various accounts of other paranormal things, folks, in which one witness sees something and the other witness sees another thing. We'll discuss that point a little later, folks. Let's finish off this article, though. I know what I saw. I know what I heard. This wasn't a dream, and it wasn't just anxiety. Something odd happened, and I can't shake the feeling that we weren't just seeing a person, but something else. When I did some research, I found a 2021 post on your site about a similar experience. The man in white jeans transformed into a leech-like figure. Specifically, the man in the suit and hat changes appearance. From the website Phantoms and Monsters. Please help. Thank you. And kind regards, MP. Now, as I said earlier, folks, this story reminds me of various accounts in which two different witnesses see two different things. In one case, folks, I remember the story of these two brothers, young brothers, in fact, when they were basically looking out a window during a stormy night. One of the brothers saw this old, creepy-looking man, while his brother saw a skeleton near this tree, folks. Both of them say they felt frightened and unable to understand what they saw, folks. And they felt truly, scared of this old man because he gave them a feeling that it was truly evil. But we have to ask, folks, like with this account where this woman says her, husband or boyfriend saw a guy in jeans, while she herself saw this tall, pale figure that looked like basically Frankenstein or Lurch from the Addams Family. But she also says that she looked away, or she basically saw this figure transform. Maybe not basically like literally just transform, but basically when she looked away, when she looked back, it looked like the way her spouse described it. A man in jeans, folks. Could it be that this is some sort of reactive camouflage? Maybe it reacts to people's perceptions, where people will see something that isn't actually what they're actually seeing. And this can basically be affected by basically people discussing it. So if one person sees something else, but another person says, no, it's a guy in jeans, their perceptions of it will alter as well. Could that be the case here, folks? If it is, who has this kind of technology? Or is it something else entirely? Perhaps a tulpa? Or maybe some sort of being that uses perceptions as a power? And what about the case with the Chupacabra? Could this be a similar phenomenon, especially with how many sightings took place? Either way, it's something startling, isn't? But we're at the end, folks, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions of the chat to go subscribe me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure to hit the part of the bell to give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Until next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.